What's good, y'all? This is from Just Say Anything, and today we're here to talk about something that's very polarizing, something that's been happening in the hip-hop game for a very long time now, and that is this shift that's been happening. And for decades, rap music has sold us the image of blending the streets with art, gangster rap, drug tales, shootouts, RICO cases, just negative imagery. It's almost a requirement to be quote-unquote real right now, but the facade is collapsing in real time. Every week, it feels like another rapper either self-snitching on Black TV, getting exposed on No Jumper, or finding themselves in the middle of a RICO case or some indictment. I mean, now with artists like Young Thug being exposed just recently with those interrogation tapes dropping, the whole Diddy case, and the curtains being pulled back on hip-hop darkest secrets, and the game is looking pretty shaky right now. But maybe it's a purge that we need, and maybe it's a good thing. Today we're just here to break that down. Y'all stay tuned. For years, the biggest artists sold themselves as larger than life street legends. Think about it. You had artists like 50 Cent. His whole story was about getting shot 9 times and living to tell the story. And that fueled his rise to fame. Or Jeezy, he was selling cracks to people's grandmas and everything. He sounded like he was just the soundtrack for the streets of Atlanta. But now, those stories don't carry the same weight anymore. Why? Because it just doesn't mix. The street and industry politics doesn't mix anymore. The feds are watching every single thing. So if you don't post about it and you don't rap it and you don't brag about it, they don't have the evidence. But it's kind of like a catch-22. For example, look at Casanova, New York hip-hop artist, street artist, whatever you want to call him. He was sentenced because of his street ties and his gang ties and his lyrics. YNW Melly literally rapped about his murder of his friends, and they using his lyrics, even if they say that they're not. I mean, you can even look at YSL and the whole Young Thug case, the interrogation allegedly of him snitching, implicating a lot of things in their lyrics, and it's just not mixing anymore. You can't be these people, and you can't be the street guy and the business guy. It was a certain point where there was no snitching, and all that stuff was, the top of the genre, but now that's even dying. And one of my personal opinions is that rap media is playing a huge role in this purge. Vlad TV is basically a confession booth at this point. Rappers walk in, spill their whole criminal crime history, indict themselves, and the next thing you know it, is knocking on their door. Vlad even has a reputation of asking fishing questions. He'll ask leading questions and then hide his hand when things happen and say, I didn't tell them to do it, I didn't tell them to answer those questions. But you're asking those questions knowing that these people are probably not the brightest people, or they might be, but they need this to sell the facade of their music, and you're playing into it. After one person got indicted, I'll kind of chill on it and I wouldn't be hiding my hand, but that's because I actually probably care about the people I would be interviewing, but someone like Vlad won't care. Also, you have people like No Jumper. They turn drama into content. And it's like a Jerry Springer show with hip-hop artists now at this point, but it's hip-hop and they're going to jail. So you even have shows like No Jumper where they turn drama into content. It's like those old shows like Maury or a Jerry Springer, but the only problem with this is these people actually go to jail and they don't just break them up and let them fight. Between Adam 22 and the messy podcast piece, rappers can't stop exposing themselves on air. It's just like a drug at this point. They're addicted to the clout. And it's partially Adam 22's fault, but it's also those artists as well too. Look at the countless times artists casually admit crimes or diss rival gangs right in the studio, and Adam 22, just like Vlad TV, throws hands up and say, I didn't force any of these people to do any of these things, but you give them a platform and the content and get paid off of it. But that's a whole nother video for another day. But these people know what they're doing. But it's almost like these artists are addicted to self-destruction for clicks. They're addicted to the cloud, like I said before. I mean, social media cloud became more important than protecting your freedom. You'll rather be lit inside of jail if people know who you are than actually being free and not being lit and people don't know who you are. And hip-hop looks lame because of it, honestly. And then we gotta talk about another big issue in hip-hop, and that is the Diddy trial. For years, there's been whispers about Puff doing stuff, wild parties, shady deals, industry blackmail, but now the court system is airing it all out, and those aren't just rumors anymore. There's some stuff going on in those back rooms, and it's making hip-hop look weird as well too. Testimonies, lawsuits, people who was next to Diddy, who was friends with him for years, now saying that they don't know who he is and we never met and I don't even know who this guy is, making people just look weak at this point. And once the smoke clears, culture might never look the same again, because it's not just Diddy. It's people like Russell Simmons, and the list goes on. People are starting to realize a lot of these powerful figures in the industry have skeletons in their closet, and that's how they probably rise up to this fame. They exploit artists, backroom deals. The trial is forcing fans to ask the question, how much hip-hop is built on lies? The purge is cultural. It's exposing both the streets and the suits. So no one's exempt from this expose that's happening with hip-hop right now. But you might ask, why do I think this is good for hip-hop? It's many reasons. I mean, as dark as this all sounds, I honestly think it's all necessary. For too long, the culture rewarded artists for being the toughest. The shady stuff that happened behind closed doors got rewarded as well too. It was kind of like don't ask, don't tell, who had the most bodies, and who was the realest shooter, who had the most charges. But think about it. Is that something that we really want to take away? This fake street image? Is that something that we want to pass down to future generations? What's left? I mean, at this point, it's just the music, the art, the creativity. And that's why I think that this purge is necessary and it should happen, because that's ultimately what this art form is supposed to be. Art, creativity, not who's the best shooter and all the other stuff I just listed. None of that stuff matters. Or who even get the most women and who's the most lit in the club. All that stuff is a sub-genre or subcategory, but that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a depiction of life, and it's supposed to be speaking out to people and actually changing the world. And we actually can if we take this as an art form and not something that we can just keep quick money from. I think we should all find artists, big artists, small artists, and give them the cosigns. Clearly we have artists like Kendrick Lamar. He respected for his pen and not his gangster image. He actually want to change some of the ways that people look at their gangster image to say, hey, these are regular people and they have to subject themselves to these certain things to get themselves out of the situation. But he's never glorifying these things to make it seem like this is the greatest thing ever. It's more so like, hey, these people want out of this and you shouldn't condemn them from doing the things, but there's a better way to live your life. Also, artists like J. Cole, one of the biggest rappers alive right now. People can say what they want to with the whole battle thing, but I still think he's necessary. He shows that you don't have to act tough and you can just not be the typical person. You can have feelings, you can talk about different subject matters, you can still be a good rapper, even rap aggressively and still be dope at the same time and not be lame. And even artists like Tyler, the Creator, he built a Grammy-winning empire just off being himself. He's very authentic to himself, and he never forgets that the art comes first. And he always put the art out there, and he's true to the art form. And at a certain point, I would say an artist like Drake, but that was before he was Mr. Tough on the weekends and Snitch in the courtrooms during the weekdays. He's getting exposed for trying to play both sides, and it's not really working for him. This moment is showing that gimmicks don't last. You can't be this super tough guy, and we all know your background and think that you can throw money in the streets and things like that. That stuff don't even matter anymore. The purge is painful, but it's necessary. So where does hip hop go from here? I think we're headed in a space where we're gonna be more mature. One where fans stop caring about who's the most gangster, start caring about who make the best records, where artists stop incriminating themselves online or just in general and start protecting their legacies and protecting their families and stop just being crash outs. The streets don't need to validate rap anymore. Rap is the biggest genre in the world, but if artists keep playing this game, they're just giving the feds new content every week, or Vlad and Adam 22 gonna keep being lit off these people every single week. And Trap Lord Ross, forgot to mention him, but him too. So hip hop looks messy right now, but maybe that's the cleanse that it needs. Maybe the purge will force the culture to grow up. And honestly, I like it. I love it down there. Because at the end of the day, music should outlast the image. And we should just put ourselves inside of a box at the end of the day. So, what do y'all think? Is this purge necessary? Is this something that we need in hip hop? I think that's personally something that should have happened years ago, but hey, better late than never. or is the beginning of the end? Is it the end of the genre? Y'all drop y'all comment stars below. And if y'all rocking with the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Remember, this is Just Say Anything, but we say what we want. See y'all next video. Peace. Y'all hold it down.
Just say anything. Like, share, and subscribe.
You're not just saying that?
I never just say anything.